Okay, we'll get started. Hi, everybody. I'm Naum. We're going to talk about RSS. Actually, this started on a whim because I was like, RSS for the perplexed. That sounds like a good talk, But it's kind of important. I mean, this feeds a lot of what goes on the internet. And most people don't know. Like, I talk to my wife and family. RSS, what's that? It's like total geek speak. So, we're not going to get real technical details, but just cover what it is.
More technical because that's what confuses me.
So, but feel free to interrupt and ask and intercede. I'll do the best to. Okay. What the heck does it stand for? There's actually two acronyms for this: Rich Site Summary or Real Simple Syndication, and basically just a view into a site, but structured by standard field definitions or standard field tags. Now I'll pull up like a text file that you can see. Like this is an example for one of my blogs, and basically it's really simple. It's just like, okay, here's the title of your site, its address, and then a bunch of items. And the items have like description, link, and like some chronological information. And there's some other tags that they're in there. Like if you listen to podcasts, they're basically RSS, and they have some extra. If you're doing Apple, iTunes, they make you put in a bunch of extra tags that are proprietary, but the concept's still the same. It's just a structured XML file. And most of the time, you never see this. I mean, like, because you're consuming this via podcast or through a feed reader, and we'll cover some of those too.
In the first read, you said a structured view of a website, and then there was the rest of the explanation with a set of standard fields.
Yeah, like link, description. And I'll put all these up. These are on my GitHub, and I'll share that at the end. So you see, like, there's certain fields. There's a title, description for each item. And I chopped it off, but the items would repeat how many, depending. And again, this isn't like really for humans. It's for other machines and other programs to hit. Why RSS? Turbocharge your web reading experience. I mean, I follow thousands of blogs, and I'm able to go through them really quickly because I don't have to look for stuff. I mean, before I used like Google Reader and stuff, I have like a delicious list. And I have like hundreds of blogs in there, and I couldn't go through that whole list. I mean, I would go through like maybe a page or so. So with the feed reader, it's like they're in there, and this new stories come, and I can see them, I can skim them, I don't have to read them. I can star things that I may not read, so I'm kind of skimming, and depending on what I'm looking for, what I'm doing, research I'm doing, it's a way, or maybe an article that I'm interested in, I'll have time to read it later, so I'll star it. But it's a way I can read so much more, so much quicker. I mean, I used to get 2 to 3 newspapers a day and spend time reading them, and now I spend that like a feed reader in addition to all the work stuff that I do. So it adds chronology to your reading. Like before RSS, like you would go to a site like to see if it's updated. Like, okay, it's not been updated. Okay, go back to the site. Well, here you kind of get notified when a new article is available. That's pretty cool. That's cool in itself. It aids in organizing your list of websites that you like. I mean, you can tag all your stuff. Using a feed reader, you can tag all your stuff. You have it in chronological order. You can sort it in category. You can only focus on some things. I know some people use their RSS and they have 2 buckets. One that's really important stuff, a set of couple dozen sites that they really devoutly follow, and then the rest they just bucket like an email folder where it's, okay, I may need to look at this sometime, but it's not capturing my immediate attention. But it's there. I have it in case, when I'm interested, if I'm going into specialized mode where I'm interested, I can go get that stuff. Finally, let's move to look at the content without all the advertising and all the other bits that are on a website. Most like news sites have like tons of crap and buttons and flash and all kinds of stuff that I'm not really interested in. I just want to read the news. So I mean that to me is alone, so worth it. So RSS readers come in many forms. Some people prefer them on the web. I read most of the stuff through the web. On my phone or a tablet, I might do Flipboard, but on most of the time I'm reading RSS, I'm doing it through the web. But people are all different. Some people like to do this from their tablets or from their phones. And then, so if you have mobile devices, then you also have to think about sync. How, when I read an article, is it updated on this device too? Is it, or do I have a whole totally different set of things? For me, that's not a big concern, but for a lot of folks, that's a big concern when looking at an RSS reader. Again, stop me at any time if I'm going too fast and you have questions. So I used to use Google Reader a lot, but that's no more. That kind of died. That died in the summer. So now I'm using Feedly, and I probably tried most of these.
You like Feedly the best?
Yes,
I
do.
haven't replaced my Google Reader yet, so that's why I was wondering what you like the best.
I like Feedly the best. It works for me. Some people don't like it because of mainly the big complaint I hear against its aesthetics, the way it looks. I like it though. But I'm kind of an old school web guy, so it's okay with me. But the old Reader was probably the closest in look and style to Google Reader, but I didn't like it. Dig Reader I didn't really like either. I haven't tried the second one, but I see that's kind of a popular one. I didn't put on there Flipboard and a few others. What other ones are people using? Is anyone using something that's not on that list?
Well, Juice is a program that will download enclosures from RSS feeds. So I guess.
So you're using Juice, really?
Yeah,
cool. It works.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's a program, not a website.
I thought that was for podcasts and stuff.
Do what?
I thought Juice was for podcasts. Was this different?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Is I use
so you're
it
using that for.
It technically reads RSS feeds.
Yes, it does. Well, podcasts are nothing but RSS.
Yeah,
feeds,
yeah.
Yes.
So I figured I'd mention it.
I prefer Feedly.
Yeah, for my text.
Here's a list of my giant blog collection. I follow 4,300. I know. I'm a terribly misfit person, but.
What percentage of those 4,381 update every day?
Probably a small fraction, Again, a lot of this got moved over because when I did move over from Google Reader, all I punched in was the OPML and it took them all. But I think at the time I had 3,000 in Google Reader, and since then I've added 1,000 because I've kind of gotten used to Feedly. I actually paid for Feedly. Feedly is free, totally free, but if you want to use the search facility, I paid, I think it was $45 for a year for it. I don't know if it's worth it because their search is kind of, they need to work some kinks out. But I paid for that, and I want to support it anyway because I use this a lot, and it's I don't know. We'll talk about more of that. That's the future course. So here's a look at my.
How do you figure out what to read of all of this?
Sure.
Oh, and I decided to see one of the things that frustrates me is how horrible some RSS readers will mangle my website. Now it looks like Feedly is making it nice, but it's not showing the entire post.
Do you publish a full feed?
It's just, yeah. Oh, you know what? Come to think of it,
You might have to check that.
I clicked on one of them where it's on my website. It just has the blurb. It's showing a little bit, or you could go to. Let me see what happens if I hit preview. Oh wait,
It depends
I'll
on.
look through. I'm kind of liking. What I'm just saying is that not having tried Feedly, but of course I've heard it. It's been around a long time. At least I think so. Feedly has been around.
I'm not sure. I learned about it in the last.
What I was happy about is that it's not mangling my website. My website has a lot of graphics and stuff, and it hasn't mangled it.
Oh, that's a good thing.
So I'm just going to be happy about it.
I'm sorry. You're saying how do you know which?
You've got an awful lot of sources there. I've got a couple hundred, and I can't keep up with them.
A variety of methods. One, depends what mode I'm in. This is just an index. Normally I would never ever look at this other than I think at one time I was trying to when I first moved over from Google Reader, I wanted to categorize every single feed I want. And that was a Herculean task because I had a lot. But every day I would try to knock it out. So I had every blog and every site in a category. I can sometimes go that route. Like I'll look up a category. Most of the time I'm just looking by just what's new. And maybe I'm looking for something. Feedly has a real nifty keyboard-driven approach where I can go GG and it pulls up a autocomplete text field. I just start typing the name and then it fills it out for me, and boom, I go there. So it's pretty slick. I mean, and I have search, but like I said, you have to pay to get the search. And the search they're getting better on it. At first, I was like really disappointed because like it would take like a really long time, and it would only give me like half dozen results, and then I have to like hit the end of stream and go again. So it'd be like another 10 seconds away. And it's gotten a little better, but it's still, they need to work on that. So hopefully, my money that I sent them, they can get that working. But
Most of yours are like news sites, maybe news of like politics and. Would you say that most of yours is like, as opposed to like gaming news or?
I have a lot of that. I have my categories in like politics, and then I have developer stuff, and then I have church stuff. You know, I work for a church, so I have like I follow a lot. So it depends. Like I follow a lot of stuff from a lot of different. So it's a show. This is like the all view. And again, it's all chronological. And they do pick out like some most popular, and they do their own little sticky thing up top. But they have different formats. You can view these on like this is like the Google Reader style, but you also can go magazine style, card style.
I've never seen that most recommended. I guess I don't follow anything that gets recommended.
Yeah, I don't know what their algorithm is. I have a section called comics, and I have this one default to a card format, so I kind of can read my comics. Like this is like a newspaper for me. So I can, in some ways, in other ways, like I use it to research if I want to find out about a topic. I have it. So that's why I categorize it and have it set up. Here I have some comics that they're in this format. If I pull up. This little thing here will tell me what format I want it in. If you've not seen this, this is a magazine format. It kind of gives you a little image thing and then stuff.
So what you mean when you say the search you have to pay, but you do a GG search type of thing, that's only searching the things that you're following, not necessarily everything else.
Right. If you want to search, you've got to pay for it.
Okay.
I can't, for some reason it's not.
It's like it's full screen. Or zoomed in.
Yeah, let's do this. See if we can get back to it. Maybe it's over in the side. There's a search right there if I can show you. But there's different formats.
But that's not the free one.
That's not the search. That search only is for paid. Yes. Yes. I think they offered. Was the lifetime membership? Was like I don't know. I didn't jump on that. Then I bought one for a year, and we'll see how it goes. Because I'm not real sure about these guys. Like if they're gonna. Hopefully they'll be around. I mean, they seem to be the leader of the pack, and then post.
Probably because they don't mangle people's blogs. I was just looking.
Well, so again, this is somebody else's words talking about the power of RSS, and his point was like without it, the long tail would be cut off because like we'd only see like the most popular stuff. And this is my words. I should go back to there we go. again, like I read like a newspaper. I also like to have, there's so many feeds I follow. I don't read them all. I probably read a small fraction, but I like having them there when I want to look for something. It's there, be it something for leisure or be it something for work. I can go and look for it and pull it off. Just like we were talking, like turbocharge. Like I can think of, okay, when I get a new blog and somebody recommends and I go read, oh, this is really cool. I didn't know about this, and I'll add it. And even from the RSS reader, I'm able to go through the whole history of that blog just a lot quicker than I would on their page. No matter how great their site is, it just takes time to click through all the pages. And here I have a whole index list of all the articles and stuff that they've done. You know, it makes it nice. You know, okay. So what's OPML then? OPML is another XML file, and basically it's just a collection of all your feeds. Right? And really, it's only really important. Like if you went from Google Reader to Feedly, you take your OPML and then you import it in. And it's not. It might be a little quirky. I don't know how standard this is, but it worked for me when I put it in. Although the old reader didn't. When I tried to port my feeds into the old reader, it spit up on me like after about halfway through. So and then another one, somebody sent me when I was going through Google Reader alternatives. I think every RSS reader developer contacted me and wanted me to try them out. And so I tried out dozens, and Feedly was the only one that really worked.
Do you know how many people use RSS readers? When I used to recommend RSS readers to people, they'd like, what? You know, so I wonder how many people use them.
I don't know. It's probably diminishing a little bit because I think for a lot of people, Twitter and Facebook have supplanted that. And people
they're going to get reminded about
and in a way, like if you follow a lot of people on Facebook or a lot of pages, it almost is de facto a news reader because you've got not just your friends, but you've got every feed coming in. And I know a lot of people have very religious objections against Facebook, you know, but it's kind of taken that, and they're you can come in, but they don't offer an RSS. Twitter used to offer an RSS, and they no longer do. They're kind of worked to eradicate their openness.
Because like way back when, I remember your website, you have to say here's how to subscribe to us via RSS. But now, like Feedly or any of them, you just put in the address of any website, and it doesn't matter. Like I just did my new website that I had set up with RSS. Well, I could read it in Feedly. The person who runs the website doesn't have to do anything special. Right.
But the person that runs the website still has to provide a feed. Most of the tools like WordPress,
you're right. WordPress does it for you.
They do. Yeah. It runs behind the scenes. You're not even aware of it. It's generating.
Yeah.
Even if your template or whatever design you've chosen doesn't have that little icon, it's still there. It's under the seams. There's a link that you can pull it up. Now I don't know if that's going to change. I mean, that's part of why I did this here, like awareness of whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, but so OPML just like for practical uses, how you can get your feeds into one feed reader into another, or you can share here's my big list of feeds. Here, knock yourself out.
So the reader that's something you sign into, and it only displays to you what that information is. It's not gonna. But if you were doing a feed from different sites, and you just want to look at it as private, it's not going to display what you're attached to or what you're reading, right?
Are you asking, can someone else see your list of feeds?
Right. This is what happened about 5 years ago.
Wow.
I was on this professional email list, and there was a person that was doing an RSS feed to her public web page, so she could track the comments. And somebody found that. They said, no, we don't want you doing that. Taking the comments from that professional website and putting it on this page.
Oh, she was lifting from one to the other.
Yeah, she said she was using it as a way to read it. As a public
She put it on. She put it in. The public could see it, even though did she intend it to be private?
No, she intended it just to be easy for her to read. So that's what I was like, wow. Anyway.
So she really wasn't reading. She was
I don't
like,
even understand how that could happen.
so she, we're saying she's lifting comments off of one place and sticking.
Right, it's like what usually happens, it's a listserv, so you get an email.
Okay.
And then
A
someone
mailing
else gets an
list.
email,
Okay.
so that's what's happening. She's, whatever phone that was funneling those comments from her email to this.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not.
So that's my question, so if you were to do this, and you were getting it from certain blogs or whatever that you're a member of, or that would be private, that you're seeing.
Yeah, it's signed into my account. I have an account at Feedly. When you go to Feedly, you set yourself up. I think initially when I did Feedly, it used my Google information, my Google account. But yeah, you can set up an account at Feedly. That's your account.
Okay.
I have
Somebody else.
a couple different accounts. I used to have different accounts on Google Reader. I had one for churches and stuff that just had church stuff in it. Now that I moved to Feedly, I've got them all into one, which plus or minus.
So that's why when that happened, I was like, I don't think I ever want to do RSS, so I just kind of wait. So now this is a really good program.
Okay, big question, is RSS dead? Is it dying? I see this all the time. Is it like going away? And this is like a dual-edged sword to me because on one hand, I often thought about like all the RSS reading I'm doing. Am I missing out? Like it used to be like way back, like websites were just like websites. People would create a website and they would like have some HTML and you may not realize it. There's still sites out there like that. I mean, there's a guy I follow. He's a famous game author, book author. He has a website. It's called razzmatazz.com. But it's not a blog. It's just a website where he posts all his articles and all his stuff and his thoughts. There's no RSS feed for it. So like if I'm viewing the web, strictly through an RSS reader, I'm missing out on that. So that's kind of like, okay, how do I remember those sites? And I know there's some tools that will actually take a site that doesn't have an RSS and make an RSS out of it. In fact, I think there's something that's doing that for Google+, which doesn't natively have a RSS reader, but there's a add-on kind of plug-in things that'll make an RSS thing for it. And some people say this is a good thing. RSS is dying. Let's move on to the next big thing, But if that's Facebook, that's pretty scary to me. I'm not like I like Facebook and all, but it's just I don't know. That just seems kind of not.
Well, it's not really the information you need. Facebook chooses what it shows
Right.
to you.
They're in charge. They're in command of the feed. Yes.
Yeah, they definitely are. So
But
if you want to subscribe to something, I mean, you could subscribe via
You
email.
can, like I follow people on Facebook and I have like this, I have a very active news feed on Facebook and I follow a lot of organizations and outfits and not just friends, and so there's a lively feed and
You're just
like
never sure yourself.
I follow a lot of
what they're
Bible
doing.
scholars and a bulk of their activities on Facebook, believe it or not, and it's like, that's really like, to me, but it's one way because there's no RSS feed off of Facebook. I can't share my RSS feed from Facebook. I can't, even if I wanted to. I mean, not if you think that's a good thing or not. But it's just like Twitter's active. They used to have Twitter not only had an API. It was easy that you could get JSON off of. They had an RSS feed. And now they acted to kill all that. They want you to come to Twitter. They don't want you going through a third party to read their stuff.
What did happen there? I remember I was trying to get an RSS feed off Twitter, and it wasn't working, and I can't remember now what the problem was. Why is it you can't get RSS off
They
Twitter?
killed them. They don't want
People
you.
to come to their site.
They
Yes,
deserve the
yes.
advertising.
They don't want third parties to. They want you to come to their site.
They get
Well,
paper.
I mean, what is the technical limitation? Because it was something like
It's not a
you
technical
had to sign
limitation.
up for. I thought you had to like become like a Twitter
You
developer.
do now. You do. Like they used to have a generic. Like even though they turned off most of their API, they had a search API that I could go and say. You could just give it a query, say search, and it would give you a bunch of JSON back. And they turned that off too.
Yeah.
And,
okay.
and again, it's not a tactical thing. It's more they want you coming to Twitter. They want you to come to Twitter to get the stuff because they have sponsored tweets and they want you in their space. And so that like ties into the open web. And that's kind of like if everyone now, like a lot of us here at the conference, we're all pretty savvy people on the internet, but I look at my family and they're not. They see like their internet world may be limited to Facebook and Twitter. So it's kind of like, is this? I don't know. It's like what's going to happen going forward. I don't know. I mean,
I don't think RSS is going to disappear though. If you looked at the uproar when Google canceled Google Reader, God, it was all over everywhere on the web. You're destroying the web. You're online.
Yeah, it was like apocalypse, doomcast day. Like, oh, you're destroying the open web, and
I think
they just like. But then I read like Larry Page said he didn't see any value in it. Never really looked at it, and like was to him it was a non-valuable entity, you know. And I remember, wow, that's pretty crazy because when they first developed it, I would talk to one of the developers. We exchanged some emails and stuff. I'm like, well, this is broken and that's broken. And then I was like, and then I saw an article from him like a year or two, like when Google Reader closed. I mean, he posted something on Hacker News, and he was like, yeah, Google never really like anyone working on it was like a death sentence. Like it was not in their priorities, you know. I mean, you know, it's not. I don't know. You know, it wasn't in their.
I guess they couldn't monetize it. They didn't make money off of it.
Yeah, I would think that like it would be like a treasure trove of analytics, like yeah, like really that people. It may not be most of the people that use it, but people that use it are heavy internet users and probably influential people in net culture. So why would you not like want to try to measure what they're looking at and what they're doing? But I guess they wasn't on their radar, you know. At least like I thought, because there's all kind of. If you look at the query strings that come out of Google Reader, they pen a bunch of information on it. It's like, well, aren't they? I'm sure they have algorithms that are slurping that up, and
yeah, but it's probably wrecking their ad business because if you're looking at it in Google Reader, you're not seeing the ads. Remember you just said, you know.
That's true. That's true. Though there are some RSS feeds that do have ads in them. Like
do they?
yes, they're the popular Apple blogger Daring Fireball. He has a feed. His is a sponsored feed. And they have a network where they include ads in their RSS feed. By default, you don't get that in your WordPress install, but they have a setup where they can ship you ads. So you're not necessarily safe from ads in RSS.
Well,
it is
you could, as long as you put the ad in the post, it will get sent out to the RSS feed. I mean, depending on what you're using to generate RSS feeds with.
Well, yeah, they can just put it at the top as a sticky post, the first item, you know. Pops in as here's your little banner, and you know, brought to you by Spokes Hubcaps or whatever. You know.
I read that the real reason they discontinued Google Reader was legal implications. They were afraid they were going to get sued for distributing content that wasn't theirs, and they're a real big target compared to these other little readers who don't have any money. And I think that's probably most important.
You know, I thought maybe too, but it just seemed to me like they didn't. Like developer, like when I read his posts, like it wasn't on. In fact, for the last year or two, it was running with nobody. There was nobody in charge of it, and when it broke, somebody would have to, from another team, would come and patch it up. You know.
They've obviously taken all the resources off of it.
So I don't know. Google sends so many things. They want to like self-driving cars and immortality and moon. It's like it's all cool, but it's like. So yeah, this is a little chart. I know it's kind of hard to see, but somebody tracked like the interest in RSS based on web searches from 2004 to the present. And you see it's kind of decreasing. So
based on web searches,
yeah.
Is that really a valid way to measure?
That's the same thought I had too, but.
Well, you mean people actually Googling RSS?
Right. That's what's a measure of. You see those kind of n-gram kind of things, like how many people search for X versus Y.
Coney 2012.
The thing is, if you have a reader, you're not going to search for RSS. You're going to just let it find the website and plug it in.
I know I came in late. Are you a blogger?
Yes.
Okay. And then when you go in your RSS feeds, how often are you commenting? Like if you're reading all that stuff, how often do you comment? Are you just consuming?
How you comment that's a good question. Like obviously it seems like it's a one-way experience because you have a list of feeds. But usually most of the tools have ability to easily go to Twitter, Tumblr, et cetera. I think on Feedly, I haven't played with it. I know in Google Reader, I used to blog directly from Google Reader into my Tumblr blog.
Okay.
I don't think Feedly. I think for Feedly you have to pay to get that for Tumblr, but they have some built-in ones like Twitter and Facebook where you can just click. pull
Did
it
you
up there.
mean comment on someone's blog he was reading?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
No, you're gonna have to visit that blog.
So I think
Yeah.
like he would be, he'd open up his Feedly, he'd see 10 posts, and he'd click on like the brief, and then if it looked interesting enough, he'd click to go to the website and then type the comment in there.
That's what I
Right.
was wondering, like, are
She
you
was
just
asking
consuming?
how often
Yeah,
do you
you're
go
just
out of
consuming.
your way to, how often do you go out of your way to leave Feedly and go to somebody's blog in order to comment? Is that what you were asking? Yeah, how
Often there's always somebody wrong on the internet.
Ah!
So you're correcting them?
No, but there's
He's not
like,
gonna tell.
yeah, that's a good point. If you have to comment on their blog, you're gonna have to go visit their blog. But usually it's a click and boom, you're there.
Continue reading or see
Yeah,
more or
like
whatever.
link here. Or like I said, most of these offer little buttons that you can tweet it or Facebook it or clip it and go to your own. A lot of times I would directly blog from Google Reader into my Tumblr, and I could just one click, pull up a little dialogue, I highlighted a text, typed a few sentences, there's a post right there. So yeah, but you have to actually go to that blog too.
And then are you tweeting your blog, like a link to your blog?
Am I tweeting a link to my blog? You mean here, like as an example, or like?
Well, no, I mean, RSS is a way to get it out to more people, but I'm saying you personally, do you also tweet a link to your blog?
Yes. I mean,
And do you use the bit.ly?
I don't use Bitly. I don't believe in
Oh,
URL
okay.
shorteners.
Well, no, because I was hearing
Sorry.
too where people, they don't want to
It'd be like
see,
Santa Claus.
they don't trust that because a lot of spammers are using the bit.ly.
Yeah, that's why I don't really, unless it's something that like.
So like if you have your website, then they go, okay, it's a real guy.
Yeah.
Click on it.
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
But the question is, it goes the other way. Every time I post something to a blog, it goes out as a tweet too with a link back to that entry.
Sometimes it's out of your control. Like Twitter has its own shortener. Like if you post a link in the Twitter,
Yeah,
they're
but then
gonna
you can see it once it, yeah.
they're gonna shorten it. They do that now, and they have control of that. I think Facebook it's not an issue because they don't you got more space, but like
Yeah, it's shortened to Google.
you know, I mean, I guess I don't know when I'm reblogging something. It's always like there's a source. You know, here's the link, and then like so it's always distinguished between the original source and what my words are and my commentary or whatever, if I had any. Or it could be just, you know, here's some words. You know.
By the way, I work with a lot of people who only use email and they won't use something like Feedly.
Oh.
There's a site called Blogtrotter where they can subscribe to a feed and it would deliver everything that comes out or it'll give them a daily summary.
Into their
Well, that's
email.
true. A lot of them, like FeedBlitz is the one that I had used on my website, my business website. So people could say, I want it to go to a feed reader and to email or to one or to the other for subscribing to it. So, I mean, if you're a blogger, the best is if people want to subscribe by email. Those are the people that are definitely reading. That's what they know. So you want them to subscribe.
What's the
by
tool you
email.
use, did you say?
Well, actually, I'm about to unsubscribe to it, but it's called FeedBlitz. And yeah,
FeedBlitz.
FeedBlitz. FeedBlitz, I can offer that on my website, and people can say, yes, I would like to receive notifications of new blog posts via email or an RSS reader, and they can do it. But I'm going to a different. Well, I'm just doing because of the fact that my posts get mangled by a lot of the feed readers and by people's email programs. It's really frustrating to me just because of the type of blog posts that I do. So I'm going to a much more old school thing. So because I should have mentioned that FeedBlitz was also handling my newsletters, and so I'm getting rid of that, and I've gone really old school. I'm sending out people PDF files for the newsletter so they can get it, because I've got a lot of instructional graphics, and it's going out that way, and I'm just going to handle it the old-fashioned way. I have a new blog post. I emailed you all about it. Here's the link to go read it. So it's really, I'm going back in the past. But it serves my subscribers better.
The problem with Blogtrotter is you can send it an RSS feed, but you have no way of knowing who is subscribed to that feed and how many people are getting it.
Oh, you don't? Because with FeedBlitz, you do know. You know their email addresses and everything. And with Blogtrotter.
So yeah, this is what I would use to go somewhere else if I did.
You're looking at one of your Feedly
Yeah, this is like a thing.
things,
Yeah.
articles.
See if I can find one that has some text in it.
It's no E and it's blog Trotter with just R, not ER.
Again, I can add a Tumblr in here. I haven't figured out how to do that yet. But I have a pro. I paid for this.
So, I'm going to start a holy war.
Okay.
Who invented RSS?
You know, you guys know, do you know who Aaron Swartz is?
Who?
Aaron Swartz?
No.
The kid that committed suicide, that
Oh, right.
dumped all
right.
those educational documents. He was a big part of the standard. It's a big holy war because Dave Weiner's involved in anything that he touches is
They
kind
wanted
of
to
controversial.
say he did.
You know, he did.
And
I hear that.
I think
he
the
did.
idea was his.
He did.
And Adam Curry
Yeah.
was involved.
Yeah,
Was
because
involved with
the podcast
podcasting.
did. Yeah, that's right.
So,
That's right.
something Adam Curry is not currently developing but is promoting to people is something called the Freedom Controller.
The Freedom Controller.
Yes, and the idea behind it is every person would have their own website, web server, whatever else, where you could generate your own RSS feeds.
Okay.
And what the Freedom Controller basically does, it's software that you run on the web server that makes
So
it
it's kind of like a
easy-
federated website. Okay.
makes it easy for you to send out your posts and your information, RSS feeds, and then subscribe to other people's web server addresses, RSS feeds. Basically the same thing we got going here. But in his point of trying to promote this, trying to promote like me running my own RSS feed off my website, is to instead of using Google Plus or Facebook or Twitter, where everything you type
You're in
goes to
control, yeah.
Facebook, everything I type is on my server and gets sent out.
Oh, absolutely.
Sort of
Well,
is.
you're in control as opposed to
Yeah.
like we were talking about Facebook earlier. Like, okay, a lot of people are using that, but you're not in command of even the feed. You say, "Well, I follow these people," but they determine what you even see and what you don't. Unless you, I mean, you can always type. I could type your name and I'll get your
Boy, that's
feed.
an uphill
But
battle. It's
you know,
right there.
Right. Right.
yeah, I don't know, man. Those guys with the federated wiki haven't had much luck either. They're trying to do the guy that created the wiki, Ward Cunningham. He's got a project for the last couple of years. It's like a federated wiki where it's same concept. You know, it's all distributed and there's nodes.
Everybody sort of runs their own.
Yeah, and it's real lightweight, but hasn't really taken off. You know, hasn't. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's like you know. On the other hand, you see the big news giants and they're falling apart too. You know, CNNs and the Arizona Republics and those guys are kind of just not even able to tread water keeping up.
If I wasn't using Freedom Controller though, what would be the easiest way for me to make an RSS feed? To let my mom subscribe to.
Create a Tumblr blog or WordPress blog, and it's already baked in. And it's already, you know, you have it. You don't even know you have it. Or Blogger.com, you already have it. It's there running, and you don't. You know. That's what I'm saying. That's part of the big, all the like blog explosions. Like was also RSS explosion because all those tools have it. Whether the people creating it even know that it exists, it's in there. It's basically in there. You don't even know it. Although a lot of people use FeedBurner. I don't know if that's going to go away, but I never really
But that went
messed with
out of
that.
business.
Oh, did they really?
Well,
Are they still
I
not?
think Feedburner
Yeah, they're
is
gone.
not.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
gone now?
And that's
Okay.
why I had
I
to
use
go,
them,
that's how to
that's
find
what
Feedlets.
Oh,
Because
okay.
Feedburner
When I
went
went over
away.
to Blog Trotter,
I never saw the advantage of them because, like, it's like okay, like you have your RSS feed on your site. Why can't you just have your site, /RSS instead of
Well,
on the
in
FeedBurner?
case people need to subscribe via email.
That's why.
Oh, is that why for
Yeah.
email?
Early on, it
Like his
offered some
mom.
features
Oh, okay.
that other
But
places
your
didn't.
mom,
It only does
Yeah.
email.
to send out your stuff via email, she'll probably read that.
Yeah. Oh, and you can open up a text box and just start typing out the XML yourself, save it, and then, the next day type in a new item in XML yourself, save it, and it will check, and it will work. If you really wanted to just go that hard,
that's-
it will work. Even enclosures, you don't have to have any super special thing, but mean, I don't know why anyone would do that.
No, I've had to write some of these, like, so it's not, the question is that they're pretty easy to write, just the question of what do you deal with when there's, you know, it's like, cause especially when there's stuff that is auto-generated, you have to deal with little idiosyncrasies that may not be up to the total standard, and how do you deal with those, you know, but yeah, most of the tools already have it baked in, so what does it mean when we go to a world where they're not, you know, like Tumblr and Blogger and WordPress all have this baked in. You start a Tumblr blog and it's already, you can go /RSS and there it is. You have an RSS feed. In fact, they would automatically ship it over the feed mother too for you. You know, I guess they can't do that anymore. But you know, so I don't know what the future holds. I hear all this time RSS is dead, RSS is dying. You know, nobody knows what it is, but yet we all kind of use it. I mean, podcasting. I mean, like it's all that's what you're doing. You're consuming RSS, so.
And then just another fun RSS tidbit news, tidbit. We have an enterprise wiki at work, you know, thousands of users editing tens of thousands of pages. And they have an option for creating an RSS feed, and you would like show me all updates that were made, and this word was on the page. So like iPhone, just as a for instance. So anytime a page
okay, so
changed,
a filtered.
Right.
Okay.
So anytime a page was changed, that RSS feed would deliver the results iPhone. And so the address that you would get would be this crazy long address, but somewhere in that address you would see the word iPhone, because that's what it was. And in my mind, I kind of just assumed this, and maybe it's not true. It's like they didn't have a single text file up there for every single word someone had. It's just whenever my computer made the query to the server probably was generating the XML file on the fly and checking for all edits, and then just sending me back the post says, oh yeah, this page was edited, this page was edited. And then the reason I would do that was if I'm in charge of the iPhone project, I want to know the entire company. If anybody's talking about iPhone, I want to know about it. And iPhone was a bad example. Maybe I should have picked a word like student clubs or something. Just like all 10,000 entries, if anybody talks about student clubs, I want to know about it because I'm in charge of the student club.
That's kind of like internet form of Google alert, you know.
Yeah. It's like
which they kind of broke when they got rid of Google Reader. That kind of broke, and then I think they patched it up since then. But it was. Did you ever do a Google alert?
Yeah.
The same kind of thing.
Those were so bad. They were. I don't know why people liked them so much because they were really useless.
They were kind of not.
Like
optimal.
5 days later, they would send you like 3 of the
it would
alerts.
it was supposed to be like every day when there's news on this,
When
you're
that
supposed to
kind
get
of
it.
stuff works, people pay a lot of money for it. Remember, I'm in marketing communications, and you know, the businesses that use that stuff to keep track of it, they are paying. It's not a free service. A free service works like Google Alerts did. You know, you got to pay for it to work.
Oh, yeah. It was, like, I think they broke it when they took that Google Reader because that was RSS based, and when they did that. So I don't know. I mean, that's all I have, unless we got more thoughts on future of RSS. Like I kind of threw it out there, like
I'm going to start using Feedly.
What would be your 3? Someone just did this to me, so I'm going to put down.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
That's all right.
So we learned. We're right there. No, your 3, and again, I came in late, so your 3 takeaways for a newbie to the RSS world, like the top 3.
Top 3 things. RSS. Yeah, that would be number 2. RSS can turbocharge your web good reading experience. Let you read.
Okay.
It lets you
My third takeaway would be selective in what you subscribe to, because it's like drinking from fire.
It's like, like I say, all you can eat buffet. Doesn't mean you can eat it all.
It means you can get updates on sites without having to visit them. You know, that's pretty cool. Like, you know, lets you organize your stuff in chronological or categorical fashion.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Okay.
You know.
I just thought of something. You can only do Feedly from Google. It says, it's right here. I was saying, I'm going to sign up. It says sign up with Google. You can't sign up as a
just
person.
alone? I don't know. I signed up with a Google account, so I don't know.
You can also create your own account.
How? Their only option they're giving me is to sign up with Google. I am Google's enemy, so I don't want to do that. I want to sign up. Is Feedly owned by Google?
No. I think it's some Lithuanian or Ukrainian kids. I'm not sure, but they're like not. I don't think they're American.
Yeah, you have to do
Thank
it through
you.
Google. Huh?
Well, that's the big power of it. I mean, I follow like 4,000 blogs or 4,000 websites, and I couldn't do that.
Have you heard of
No.
examiner.com?
The website?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of it. Familiar with
So,
it.
I mean, I have columns on there, and I don't like to give it out to people because they have so many ads. Even when I'm writing, it's like the pop-ups where
Oh, they have a lot of gunk.
that's where they make their money.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
the ads.
That's another advantage is being able to read.
Yeah.
Not every site offers full feeds. Like for instance, Arizona Central does. Like they only give you like a short blurb. And
Yeah.
You got to click through to read the whole
It's
article.
Like, forget it.
Most, yeah.
And get the pop-ups.
I always supply full feeds, even like the professional sites. It's like I don't really like if people want to see your stuff. You should give it to them. Like I don't know. I guess if you're selling insider secrets or secret knowledge, maybe you want like people to pay. But if it's stuff you're trying to share with the world,
They join and they get into a
yeah,
room.
yeah.
That's my
But if it's stuff you're trying to share, like why would you?
yeah.
So you get clicked. It's the same way like all these places have like they divide pages up into like 6 pages that are like 2 paragraphs long, like so they get the clicks. Like oh, that's 6 clicks instead
Yeah,
of
to
one.
me
Like,
that's only to sell
it's
advertising.
annoying. It's like really annoying. It's
Yeah.
you know.
Well, it's like if you do a Google search and something else comes up, that's why it's great. SEO is great now. It's like has to match.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is examiner.com?
It's like you apply to be a columnist, and I did it because I wanted to start writing and figure out how to write a good blog. And so they pay you like $1 per article, and they have, so basically that's when it started like 3.5 years ago, journalism was going out. And so then they hired all these people who aren't really trained as journalists. And so if you go on there, you'll see, oh, there.
They have
The
pop-up.
ads, writing for it, so, you know, I started because I like dogs, so I started as a dog column, and now I do startup and then branding. But I stopped referring it out as a link and started putting it on my blog, just because I don't want people to have this experience. It adds credibility, kind of, because you have to be approved, but again, they have so many people. Does that answer?
Yeah, thanks.
It started out as a different animal, but now it's,
There's a couple of these like there's Medium too. They're doing something similar.
they're just making, the ad money. and
The
stuff.
guy that did Twitter has Medium, and I don't get it because it's like okay, another walled garden, and they get some writers to write, and it's not.
Because,
I don't
I mean,
know.
if you have to click to it, you're not going to read it, right? I mean, I think that's everyone. It's like too many clicks and you're gone.
Yeah,
Or you get interrupted or something.
I agree.
So the RSA ad makes sense.
And again, if they offer a feed, I don't know if they just got to even offer a feed.
That would be better. But, I mean, even if you're writing, you shouldn't have to deal with pop-ups.
Doesn't look like they have a feed.
Yeah. I just looked at the Curata, they're back to mingling the posts.
Oh,
Yeah. That's not good.
your Feed Spot. One of the ones I tried. Feed Spot was one.
Spot is good.
Yeah. In fact, one of the developers contacted me, and I tried it and didn't like it.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
okay. It was really slow though. It was.
That's-
I have all these slides up too. If you want to look, they're not pretty form, but they're up on my GitHub.
What's the feed later?
What's that? Oh yeah, do that
You're
too.
live.
Seeing me and all my inherent awkwardness.
Yeah, I'll try to get because I'll record from way before it starts to way after it's over. I'll try to trim it and then post it and then link to it from the schedule page, like within a week.
I sent it to my mom. She
You
cried.
sure
There
that-
you go. You have one constant reader, that's all that matters, right?
My mom likes it. That's all that matters.
When your mom stops reading, then you know you gotta
Yeah.
change something.
Yeah. Thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Speaking of, gonna
Oh,
save the top right now.
I get to actually see one instead of.